Welcome everyone to another episode of Kiwi Talks. I am your host, Reese Riley, and my guest today is one of the veterans when it comes to DJing. He's been around for a while. He's worked with a number of people, including PhD, Furrow Munch, and Mobb Deep in terms of opening up for them. He's working on a current album at the moment. So yeah, I'd like to welcome DJ Scizzorhands.
Yo, what's up, bro?
How you doing,
What's
bro?
up? I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So first thing I want to know, bro, is how you got into DJing in the first place, man.
Man, it's like, I think it's like with anyone doing anything though, you know, it's like there's 100 stories that lead to the one thing. So I think it was just loving hip hop and loving hip hop culture. I was a b-boy first, bro.
Oh, true.
So yeah, so I used to break at intermediate school and leading into high school, and then big things that were happening at the time was Major Flavors. Severe. P Money was really popping off, and also, you know, like international influences. Mixmaster Mike was all over that shit with 3MC's One DJ. That video, bro, was something that was like, whoa, what the fuck? That shit's crazy. And then DJ Rectangle mixtapes. Yep. So my sister's boyfriend at the time, Lewin, and we're still in touch to this day. The bro Lewin, he's a bit older than me, but he was always like my older brother in many ways. You know, we used to ride around in his Toyota Starlet.
Oh, nice.
Listening to Rectangle tapes, and I just got fully into it. Shout out to DJ Rectangle. He likes my Instagrams these days, which to me is like, that's like, whoa,
that's
shit.
big, man. That's big.
But yeah, and it was just like all these tiny little things. And it's like, so when I was 13, I sold my drum kit and my electric guitar because I was like, fuck this, I just want to scratch. And then being 13 years old, bro, I spent all that shit on fucking booze and pies and lots of CDs, bro. I just bought tons of CDs, which in hindsight, you know, it's like now that I'm a bit older, without buying all those CDs, I probably wouldn't have got that heavy into the DJing in a way anyway, because it's like, you know, I sold this shit to buy DJ gear, but I ended up buying tons of CDs, which then just made me get deeper and deeper and deeper into the shit. Yeah. So it's like when I finally could afford some turntables when I was 17, you know, I was at that point I was like fucking hungry, you know, and it was my foreman at the time, because I'm a panel beater by trade, bro. So my foreman, my foreman at the time, shout out Al. He like, I talked to him because he spent like 8.5 years in the UK, and him and his wife were like psychedelic trance, like they were into psychedelic trance and shit, and they were DJs, and they'd made music and they'd done a whole bunch of shit. And he was my foreman, and he was like, just fucking do it. Stop talking about wanting to buy some turntables, just go fucking do it. I'm just like, it's like, yo, so it took that last little like push.
That's cool, man.
For me to go get some shitty equipment, lock myself away. Just tried to learn how to use this shit, playing.
How long does it take? Like, how long did it take you to, like, because you know how there's different scratches. You got like Baby, you got Stab.
Yeah.
Like, Crab looks like one of the hardest to learn.
It was, but now it's like an intermediate.
Okay.
You know.
So what was the hardest technique to learn?
I don't know. I mean, because I think even the more basic ones have their hard sides to them. So it's like even like a Baby, right? Yeah. Like when it comes to scratching, like a Baby, there's a million ways you can do it, and you can get really technical with it. So it's like when you learn all these scratches and you've got like the same record movement going all the time, it's easy to get it that way. But then when you need to unlearn a lot of your bad habits to then relearn all the basic things again in order to get more out of them.
What do you mean when you say bad habits?
It's like, you know, you've got a particular way and a particular flow that you sort of stick with, or a particular way you put these scratches together. Right. But as soon as you want to like move your Baby in a different way to get a different sound out of it while doing something on the crossfader, or like throwing a tiny Baby in between other little bits just to get like little fillers or little accents going in your scratches. Oh, so you've got to unlearn all these habits that you've learned by learning the basics, right? And then getting better and better and better and better. And you've got to like separate yourself from everything you know and relearn the basics again, and push yourself to figure out the basics, like figure out different ways to do the basics.
And how long does that take? Well, how long did it take you?
A while, you know, and a lot of it is because just as I think it's like a dude thing too. You just want to like get in and you just want to be like,
yeah.
You know, it wasn't until I was quite a bit old. Like I'm saying, like 4 years ago, it wasn't until I was quite a bit older that I was like, man, I really want to like take this to another level. So yeah, I had to force myself to try and unlearn things, and I had to unlearn things because I wanted to take to another level of these new style, all this new style shit.
Yeah,
and all this new style shit relies on you being really, really insanely good at the basic shit. So you have to go back to the basic shit and revisit it all, and you forget a lot of the basic stuff too.
How long did you practice for? A day?
In waves, bro. You know, it's like I could spend like 2, 3, 4 hours. At one point, it was like 4 hours a day just practicing scratching.
Would you lose track of time?
Yo, fuck yes. Bro, it's like, you know, you produce music too, bro. So it's it's the same as that. It's like you go into that time vortex and fuck, it's like 5 hours gone by. I forget to eat and shit, which is like the worst.
I do the same, dude.
Yeah. And I think it's like creatively you get into this bubble where you're in this, like the zone, I guess, but you're in this area where it's like, I don't know, it's bizarre.
You're so isolated from the rest of the world because you're so immersed.
It's almost like another dimension in a way, you know. You go into this thing where it's like time is irrelevant.
Yeah,
and it's like typical physics become irrelevant. It's
a good way of putting it, eh? Oh, true.
You change the time continuum.
Yeah. So when did you start getting your gigs?
Like all of us, bro. Like, you know, the first like just DJing gigs was friends' parties and shit like that.
Yeah.
To the point that some of my friends at the time that I was hanging out with at the time, they'd be like, "Don't bring your turntables," you know, like just come and hang out with us. But the thing is, like, you just want to get better and you want to you
want to get better at what your craft.
Yeah. And you just want to be on it all the time. And I think my friends that I was hanging with at the time, they didn't quite get that. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know.
Did you ever want to become a rapper? Seems like everyone wants to be a rapper.
Dude, I mean, I fucking tried. Now I'm still trying. But funny enough, like, it's funny because I sent Kevin Posey, who
he's cool, man.
I sent him like he had the bro chosen from the States write me a verse.
Yeah,
because it's like, bro, I know I'm not good at writing. So I got someone to write me the verse, and then I made some tweaks to it just to make it more mime. Yeah, and then rewrote a couple bits and tried it. I'm not good on a mic, bro. You know,
is it just you not liking how you sound on a mic, or you actually not good on a mic?
It's definitely like it's not him.
But like, you know how like you produce others. Would you need someone producing?
I need someone to produce me.
Like a Dr. Dre.
But I'm
because I know you're tight with the PhD boys, like Neiman, Ryan and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you did a verse and they were like looking over your shoulder, I'm sure they'd give you some tips.
Yeah, I mean it's going to happen at some stage. I'm definitely want to put something out. And I'm just going to do the random drop too. I'm just going to drop that shit.
Oh, okay.
And just be like, maybe do a like shitty video for it. Like, I want to do it as like not a piss take, but more of like, hey, I gave this a crack. And if it comes off cool, it's all good. But
would you want to just do 16 bars, or would you do the whole 64?
Nah, I think I'll do like 32 or something like that. But yeah, just trying to find my tone that fits as well. So it's like, you know, understanding whether I go smooth and slower, or it's like trying to find something that fits with me or whatever.
The beat and stuff. So so you could because when I used to rap and produce, like both of them would intertwine in a way.
Yeah.
Like I'd build the beat around the verse in some instances. So
yeah, I mean that's the way I do my production anyway. Like generally I'll give someone like an idea, like, oh, here's like 8 bars, or here's like 16 bars idea, and then once they send back the verses, or if they come around the shit, I always prefer them being in the studio because it's like more creative input. But if they come out the studio and throw down some shit, then, you know, I'll sit there for a while and I'll just arrange around it and pull the drums out here and there, maybe add a drum fill here and there, like try and make it accent them, because at the end of the day is like being a good producer isn't about putting more into it. And this is something that took me ages to learn too, but it's like, it's not about putting more and more into it. It's more about sometimes pulling shit way the fuck out, so that way you can let the rapper shine on certain areas, or the singer shine on certain areas and stuff, you know?
Yeah, because if you have too many instruments or too much going on in the beat, it can actually overshadow the artist, and in some ways it's harder to mix because the frequencies can clash as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one song I've ever heard where there's insane amount of shit in it, and it's by a guy called Anomaly from Canada, and it's this he's a jazz musician, bro, so it's like he does the keys and shit.
Oh, nice.
It's amazing, but it's like there's so much going on in that song, but it's so well mixed, you can hear everything perfectly, and it's like how they pulled that off. It's like, because if you sit and listen to it on monitors, everything has its perfect space, and that's what makes it so amazing. And it's like, I strive to get so good at mixing one day that I can make something that dope.
I think it's the hardest part, man. Like there's a high art to it. I reckon.
And also it's like, I think even mixing, producing anything.
Because this is something you got into recently, right? Just producing,
Yeah, I mean, I've been tinkering with it since forever. Like, I bought an MPC when I was like 19, 20.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And I've tinkered, but I've never like fully like sat down and like, okay, let's actually make some beats.
Yeah.
But yeah, last like 2 years, I've just been going like, fuck it. Like, I've always wanted to make beats and shit. But now I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'm going as hard as I can on this. I'm spending a lot of time trying to learn as much as I can.
Do you go on YouTube and look at videos and tutorials?
Yeah,
and stuff?
I find YouTube a funny thing though, because the thing is like, you can waste a lot of fucking time on YouTube. I think just picking
you're going down the rabbit holes.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes some of the advice is really fucking shitty as well. Like, you know?
Yeah, that's the problem, eh? So and the thing is, I reckon with mixing is it's something. I don't think it's something anyone can fully teach you. Like, there's little techniques and tricks you can learn, but it's something you learn the more you do it yourself. Yeah,
and I think it's like trying to learn the technicality of it matters. But a lot of it's coming down to ear, maybe referencing. And I've got Bro Jeffries, the homie Bro Jeffries, like he's been a saint for me, you know, like he's my master in a way, whereas like I'll always just pick his brain, and that dude's good. Like he knows what the fuck he's doing. And he recently, one of the recent projects he did was the 9 to 5ers album.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds great, you know. And that's why, you know, I must be annoying to him at times, like asking him shit that like
he probably did that with someone else though. So
yeah, you know. And I've recently read the book, The Tao of Wu, which is RZA's book.
Oh yes.
And it's really cool.
I haven't read it, but yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm not a religious follower at all. I'm not too spiritual in that sense, but it's like reading that book made me like, because Riz is a very spiritual kind of guy, you know?
Yeah.
But he's also a mathematician, so it's like he's got this like physicsy side to him, but he's still got this like religiousy sort of side to him. But he's read the Quran and Buddhist books, and so it's like I don't think he's religious to one religion. He just takes it.
Well, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
because otherwise you're biased.
Yeah. I mean, if it's one of these things too. Like I got a lot of homies that are devout Christians or whatever, and it's like, you know, I'm gonna bump on someone's shit because that's what they believe in. Like that's their personal truth.
Yeah.
And all that sort of shit. But
Totes.
In that RZA book, bro, he it's one thing that is gonna stick with me for a long time. Is like, in order to be able to get good at anything, you need to be able to succumb to a master. And he also said in there that for a Black American to say that, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But with that whole like martial artsy side of things, it's true, you know. It's like you've got to just listen to everything that this person's got to say, and some of it you're not going to use. Humble yourself. Yeah, some of it you're not going to use, but at the end of the day, it's like you've just got to realize that this person's putting time and effort and whatever, and they've got a particular way that they know works, and you know, and it's like as teaching turntablism and shit like that as well. It's like I have that sort of approach where it's like I got my students and I'll just get them to fucking do the baby scratch a million times in a whole bunch of different ways, but I consistently say to them like, just trust the process. Like it'll pay off. Trust me.
Yeah.
And the ones that listen and go through it are all good, you know. And it's the same martial arts sort of thing. And I came from doing martial arts as a young kid as well. So it's like I understand that it's like doing that same block a million times, bro, when it comes to like an actual fight or whatever, and you need to fucking jump out of the way and fuck it, it's natural reaction, just wow, like you know, you don't even think about it. And it's the same with scratching. It's like it's or turntablism. It's like a language. So it's like you've got to consistently practice these same things over and over again. But then when it starts, you come up with ways how to put them together too, and phrase them. So it's the same as like my daughter right now. It's like she's learning how to put sentences together.
Right.
You know, and it's like, but when it gets to a point where you can speak without even thinking about it, that's the way you got to look at scratching too. So you learn the basics word by word, well, scratch by scratch, how to link certain ones together and how you can make certain ones link together. But then you get to a point where you can just like, and it's like me saying that, I should be able to scratch that the same.
Yeah.
In a way. It's like a rapper's flow, like a really good rapper's been
Well,
doing
you go into autopilot, so to speak. Yeah, it's automatic.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that they say it takes 10,000 hours to master a craft.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, give or take. I think some people learn quicker than others, you know.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Some people pick up on things faster. I'm not a certain person that picks up really, really fast on things. But when I set my mind to something, I can pick it up fastish, you know. So
when you're like training these kids, because at MAINZ, is it?
I teach at MAINZ, and I'm doing my own shit at Radio Burgerfuel as well.
Yeah. I've seen that. That must keep you busy, bro.
Yeah. It keeps me busy. Keeps me thinking a lot.
But they're two different things, aren't they? Like your training at MAINZ is different to what you're doing at Radio, Burgerfuel Radio.
Yeah, to a degree.
Because isn't it what you're doing at MAINZ, you're just teaching them how to scratch, whereas with Burgerfuel Radio, you're kind of giving them the floor to...
Okay, so
for a practice,
MAINZ is a 1-year course. So it's electronic music production and DJing. So I teach the whole DJing side from the second they walk in the door, how to mix 2 records together, like, you know, house records and stuff like that. And the approach to that is that, like, you know, it's a bit different in the sense that they've got to move at a pace. You know, they got to move at the pace of how long that paper goes for. Or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like, you got an assessment coming up. The difference with Radio Burgerfuel thing, cut class is the thing that I've designed and made, is it has a slightly different approach in the sense that I treat it like a dojo. So you come and you train with me, you practice, and I'll push you like as fast as you need to go. Because some people, like I said, like some people learn slower, some people learn much faster, you know. So the idea is that they come and they train, and then every 3 months I've got a grading session, and then they grade up.
Oh, true.
So it's like martial art gym. So it's like a dojo, bro. So it's like you go and you train, and it's like if you're ready to train, then you turn up for grading, and if you do well, then you grade up. Then you're on that next plane, you know.
Yeah.
Then you're like, cool, you're ready for the next thing, and then once they've done that, they're ready for the next thing, and that's the whole approach to it. Because it's like I want to try keep it as fun as possible, but also, because if it gets too pushy, something like MAINZ for a lot of people, it can get a bit stressful, and it's like I want to take the stress out of it, keep it a bit more fun, and it's cool because there's a crowd that come very regularly now, and they're almost like I wouldn't say family, but they're like, it's like a crew, you know. It's like this crew of people that I see
come
regularly.
And support.
Yeah, and they just want to get better, and and it's taught me. I mean, I think teaching's taught me a lot about how different genders learn.
Oh, true.
As well.
In what sense?
In the sense that girls are generally likely to just listen to you,
and guys aren't.
And guys generally, I've seen it. MAINZ, I see a little bit at cut class from time to time. There's this. Don't get me wrong. There's dudes that will listen to everything that you've got to say as well. And it's like listening to anything. You take it with a grain of salt, but there's always some truth in certain things and stuff as well. But whether you like to admit it or not, but But dudes generally, I think there's this like, well, I don't need to know that. Not so much at cut class.
So people come in thinking that they're the shit.
Like, bro, don't even get me started. Some do, you know, especially with cut class, it's different because the thing is they're turning up at their own will. With MAINZ, it can get a bit funny at times because there'll be people that want to learn more production, not DJing. You know?
So is it like when you're teaching like at MAINZ and stuff, is it like a whole classroom and they're all scratching and stuff and you're like going
MAINZ, we actually have to do like lectures. So this is where it's way different than cut class. Cut class, they turn up, I got 8 people at a time, and it was like I just go around and I help one of them at a time and just keep going around. We're there for a couple hours.
Okay.
see you later, like I see you Wednesday.
Yeah.
Where MAINZ is like, it's a structure. It's like school.
Yeah, well, I went to SAE, so like...
Yeah, so you turn up and we do a lecture. And it's funny because like when I first started teaching, I was like, I've never fucking, dude, I was a fucking bum at school, bro. Like I was always at class, but I was usually just like being an egg, fucking listening to my music. Yeah. I used to put my fucking earbuds up my sleeve through my jumper and just sit there and listen like this. I'd be like, yeah, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck. I was like, man, how do I turn what I know into theory? As soon as you write that shit down, bro, it's theory.
Yeah.
Man, it's like, so if I can write it down and present it in a way where it's theoretical, then we have a theory class. And it was a lot easier than I thought it would be originally. I started there just teaching the scratching side. So it was sweet. And then I started teaching the whole DJing side, and that was cool too. The hardest part is keeping their attention. And my 4th year there now, and I've noticed year on year, their attention spans get shorter.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's the case.
Yeah,
particularly with social media and everything. Everything just fast.
Yeah, which is cool. Keeps me on my toes a lot,
So how do you adapt to that? How do you try
to keep the classes punchier now I like sort of stop, get them to do something practical, and then come back in the classroom?
Do you crack jokes?
I try to. Sometimes I'll crack some jokes. It was funny, one of my students one day, like, there's another thing too, is like, if my class, I've learned that if some of my students are going to be smart ass little fuckers, I'm going to be a smart ass back. And one of my kids was being a real smart ass all day. And then one day I was like, because I generally get them to put their, and this is weird to think of, but you got to treat them like kids in some respect. Because and I'm a bit the same. It's like, if my phone's there, I'm going to pull that shit out. If something's semi not interesting, I think a lot of people do now, older generation, younger generation. So as they walk in the classroom, I get them to put all their phones on the table. I count the phones. I'm like, all right, 15 heads in here, 15 phones. All right, let's go. And I make it fair. I put my phone on the table too.
Oh, nice.
But one of them was being smart. He's like, I'm waiting for a call. I'm like, who's the call from? Oh, I'm just waiting for an important call. And he was being a real smart ass all day already. And then I said to him, I was like, that's cool, bro. Just put it on the thing, and you'll hear it go across the desk, just like your mum's top drawer. And the whole classroom was like, oh. But for me, I was like, if you're gonna be a cheeky,
then I'll give it back to you.
I'm gonna give it back to you. Some of the students, they're all good. So I'm all good with them, and they're all good with me. Yeah. But I always try to treat my students with respect as well. It's like I try to teach them try to treat them like they're bros in a way. But sometimes if they want to act like kids, bro, you got to treat them like kids, and they're not. They're adults.
Yeah.
But
sometimes it's real easy to get so in your own world though that you don't even know that you're being an asshole. Like sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
You need to be kept in check, or someone to check you.
Yeah, hard. And sometimes I might need to be checked. So, if someone's going to turn around to me and be like, Elton, you're being a fucking dick, I'll be like, oh, shit.
I'm like, oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah. Like, sorry, bro. But
how did that even happen anyway? How did the whole MAINZ thing happen?
Okay, so Alan, I was telling you about before, my foreman, his wife, Kathy, she was working at MAINZ while I was still panel weeding.
Yeah.
And she knew that I was fully into this getting into this DJing thing full on, because it was after Bull Thr3style.
Which you killed. Yeah.
But then when that, she was working at MAINZ as one of the admin team, and they needed someone to cover the night classes.
Yeah.
So she put my name forward, and they gave me the job. So then it became like 16-hour days. Like I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Working those nights up there, and then when I decided to finally hand in my notice and quit my job, it's weird. Like close the door opens. Yeah. Sort of universe, sort of shit. But yeah, I closed the door on the job, and then the bro CXL was leaving. So I was like, so he just rang me. He's like, yo, dude, do you want to take my spot at MAINZ? I'm like, yeah, sweet, cool. So it was cool because then I had some like actual money coming in.
Well, that's the hard thing with music. It's very, very difficult to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
Like it's probably easier on the DJing side as opposed to like, say, the rapper side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely because, I mean, for me in a way, no. Because I've made a promise to myself to not do every Friday, Saturday night. And I've made a promise to myself not to play music I don't like.
Oh, at clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like I've definitely stuck to that in a way.
So you've always done that, or?
Yeah. I mean, back in the days when I was first starting DJing, I was trying to like do the top 40 stuff, and I had like a residency every Thursday night and stuff. And
so under no circumstance you'll do a Friday or Saturday.
No, I will do a Friday, Saturday. Yeah, I'll DJ. I'm DJing next Friday.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll DJ Friday and Saturdays, but I just didn't want it to be every Friday and Saturday.
Oh, right.
Because if you want to play top 40 clubs, you have to be that guy that's there every Friday and Saturday night. And also, a lot of the music I don't really like, you know. So are
you a fan of mumble rap and drill and stuff? Because I hate it.
Some of it. Some, you know. I'm not gonna hate on it because end of the day, bro, we had some fucking arrogant shit as well. You know, it's like,
oh yeah, totally. I mean, yeah,
but it's
you're a better person than I am.
But like, I don't know. I think some of it's just like, because even some of our arrogant bullshit was skillful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, in the hindsight, like, well, not in hindsight, like just in thought of it though, also like with their mumble-y type of stuff that I don't necessarily like, some of those guys making their own beats and doing their own engineering. So I guess they've got skills in how to use auto-tune to make it sound.
Oh yeah, I mean,
adaptable.
there's an art in terms of mixing and the production and all that. I'm big into lyrics, like, so like if
I'm big into just flow, just dope flow.
Yeah, that counts.
And I think like having good diction, like makes the flow fit really nice.
Yeah,
and being able to make flows sound really cool, you know. And it's like, and there's no you know, it's like there's no syllable hitting, and it's like, if they're making music like that, the syllables don't hit. But that's just my ear. That's what I prefer.
So you know when you've worked with like these dudes for your current like album, like Diggy, Dupe and Unchained and Kevin Posey and stuff.
Yeah.
Do they send you a verse and you might go back and be like, well, first of all, are they in the studio with you when they do a lot of this stuff? Some are, but then like, do you be like, oh, can you change it this way or do it this way, or do you just largely let them do what? I largely
let them do what they do. I mean, they're not unseasoned, these guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, Unchained when he came in here, he absolutely killed.
Yeah,
like,
these guys are like not unseasoned. Like these guys know what they're doing, and I trust their judgment. If it was a young kid who I liked his voice and whatever, then you know I'd go in on him. You know, I think the only one was Cluse. I like asked him to do a couple things differently.
Yeah.
And that wasn't against his artistry. It was just more like for what I could hear on it. But the others came with something, and I was like, oh, that works.
Because I've done that sometimes when I've had like a rapper and I'm doing like some, you know, production or I'm producing them.
Yeah.
And I might be like, oh, maybe change that word and use this word instead to make it sound or flow better, or try saying it this way. And then usually they're like, yo, that sounds way better.
Yeah, well, there was a couple of sessions we had at Sweet Spot Audio with Bo Jeffries. There's a couple of sessions we had with him where he became the co-producer recording the artists for my shit. And it was like, you know, and I was glad that for these particular artists, I took them through to Bo because that really worked for what we needed to do. And it's another thing too, bro, is like I'm still learning a lot. And watching Bo produce these guys while making my shit was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what I'm supposed to do. Because I'm more like, I guess, like a beat maker, you know, like...
Yeah.
You know, I'm not seasoned enough yet to really be like a full-on producer.
But what makes you just... Like, why did you pick with these guys specifically to be on your album? Like, why Unchained? Why Kevin...
Yeah, well, Diggy, because this beat I sent for Diggy, the one that came out...
Yeah, Money in, Money Out. If you haven't heard it, everyone go check it out. It's on all digital formats, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hood. And
Yeah, if you like Hood, then
And I was
you'll
like,
it.
hey, I wanted Diggy to go on this beat.
Yeah.
So I sent it to him. I was like, yo, you keen on this? And he's like, yep, sweet as. I'll see you Wednesday. He literally came in the studio and just laid that shit out. And it was like, he had practiced it. Yeah, he had practiced that, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you could tell he was in the studio. He was ready. And it's like, to me, I'm like, yo, that's cool. Because that to me is like,
that's what you want.
He takes his shit seriously.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then, who else is second song? Oh, the first song. So the first song on the EP is featuring Guilty Simpson and Kenny Slade.
Yep.
It was a beat I made and I was sitting on for ages and I was like, I actually sent it to Dirty originally, but I always had Guilty Simpson in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But I sent it to Dirty, and I didn't hear back from him whether he just didn't check his Instagram or whatever. That's fine. That's all good. But in the back of my mind, I was always like, this is fucking got Guilty Simpson written all over it. Luckily enough, when Guilty Simpson was here in New Zealand touring, I was DJ.
Yeah.
And we sort of stayed in touch, and then I just sent it to him. One day I was sitting there, and it was actually took Bo. Bo was like talking to me, because I self-doubt myself a lot. Like,
I think that's what all creative people do.
Yeah, and I think Kiwis we're some of the worst at it too.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he, Bo said to me like the night before, and he's like, bro, some of your beats are actually really good. I was like, okay, cool. And it took him to say that for me to be like, fuck it, I'm going to send this to Guilty how I originally intended, you know?
Yeah.
Send it to him, and like he hit me back straight away. He was like, yo, this beat's dope, bro, cool. I'm working on another thing with another producer at the moment, but I can put a 16 on it for you. I'm like, yep, let's go. So by the end of the week, I had the 16.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and again, this is a pro, bro. You know, he doesn't mess around. He just fucking does shit.
Yeah.
And it was hard, and I was like, cool, all right. Now I got 16 from Guilty. Who am I going to hit? And then I had a couple of dudes in mind, and one of them was Kenny. And then Kenny, like, he had the beat, he had the verse.
Kenny's a professional, man.
Yeah, he had the verse sent back to me like the next day. I was like, these are the sort of people I want to surround myself with, you know.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a long time to really learn that. And that came together pretty quick, and so I arranged that, and that's more or less mastered at the moment. So the second one is the Diggy. Third song is Go On and Cry, Edgar and Kenny Slade. So me and Kenny actually did that a long time ago. And then we got Edgar on it, and it's sort of been sitting there for ages waiting for me to get these other things sort of ready and sorted.
Yeah.
That one comes out on November 11th. And those guys, because I was working with Kenny at the time, trying to throw things together and stuff. I did 2 songs for his EP, his old EP, Kenny Slade EP. Slade, the Slade EP it's called.
Yeah.
2 songs on that. We recorded that all at my place. And he did it not long after that. And after he did 2 verses for it, I was like, okay, this is a really storyteller type thing. So I was like, the bro Edgar Mahon from 9 to 5 is he's a storyteller type of guy. And I was like, and I like conflicting things, like things that, like, you wouldn't necessarily put Kenny. I would never really put Kenny and Edgar on the same song. But this song, I was like, I heard Edgar all over it. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And it worked. And it sounds great. I'm like, cool. I'm glad I put that together. And then 4th song is Mo Styles. So that is more or less a rock song. And all it was like a drum loop. And I had like this Facebook group. I was putting up some of my like earliest shitty beats on just with close friends so they could give me feedback and stuff like that. Yeah. And Faletti came out to the studio one day and he's like, oh, I wrote something to that. And all it was at the time was basically a drum loop. Yep. And I was like, oh shit. Like, okay. It's like a drum loop with this guitar like bam, bam. And I was like, oh, okay, now actually like this is saved from Ninja Mystic and 9 to 5ers. It's like, okay, I need to make this into a thing.
Yeah.
And it became a thing after a lot of work, and I got a bass guitarist and all that stuff on it.
Yep.
So that's how that one came together. 5th song. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
How big is the EP? Is it 7?
7, yeah.
7 songs.
It's the 5th song.
Is it with Unchained or Kevin?
Oh, Let It Go. So that's got Unchained XL, Kevin, Posey.
Have they been performing that already?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think I saw on Unchained story, or maybe Kevin's. They were performing some song together.
Oh, they perform quite a bit together. They got a few songs.
Because they're boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Unchained XL, Kevin Posey, Sabe, Heath Huckaboogie, and Sabe's daughter, Jeremiah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and that one came together because Sabe, 9 to 5ers, Polynesian Mystic, he put down the hook, the idea, and then I sat on it for ages. And then when I was like, okay, I really need to start finishing this fucking music, I revisited it, and I was like, Kevin was at the studio. I was like, bro, do you like this? And yeah, cool, sweet. He did what he does. He got up and freestyled like 4 times.
Because that's what he did when he came on here. He just freestyled. Like, he actually did 2 versions of the freestyle that you hear.
Yeah.
And both times they were different. Like, he made that up on the spot. Like, some people don't know that, but yeah. He's crazy freestyler. Dude.
And it's like, he stood up, freestyled, and he's like, oh, I almost got it. Take again. All right. And it's like, he would change a few words and stuff here and there, and then, just one more time. And then he would spit something completely different. I'm like, okay. But the story was still similar. I was just like, what? Like, what's he doing?
He's such a talented dude.
But as soon as he got that takeaway, he's like, that's it. It's like, yo,
that's it.
Yeah. And that's how that one came together. And it's like, I got him to hit up Unchained because I met Unchained at Radio Burgerfuel, but it's like, I just figured at that time, I was like, oh, I'll go through Kevin because those 2 boys.
Yeah.
Get him to ask, and then, and then I'll ask. So that way it's like, I guess, a little bit of peer pressure, but also the fact that it's like, he's his boy, so it just makes sense for him to ask through that avenue.
He's
first.
A cool guy, though.
And yeah, Unchained came through straight away, bro. And I've been an Unchained fan for a minute, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
he's been around for ages.
Wait till my bars part 4 too, bro.
Yeah.
Like, wow, bro. Anyway, but yeah, just his vocal delivery, everything, a little aggressive, but not really aggressive, but just right. But yeah, Unchained, and then I figured. I actually was talking to Heath, and I was like, bro, I got this track that I reckon you'd be good on, and Felitti, Sabe was on it as well, and those 2 are boys, so I was like, makes sense to have both of them on, both dudes from 9 to 5ers. He came real correct, and then when we went to record the vocals again, and this is where I've learned to like just trust people's judgment a lot too, because Sabe brought his daughter along, and they had this other hook idea, and he's like, oh, you could probably make that into a bridge or something instead, I don't know, just do what you want with it. And I was like, at the time when he brought his daughter to the studio, I was a bit like, okay, interesting, like, but I trust his judgment, and he's been doing music for a long time, he knows what he's doing, like, cool. And then it wasn't until like I started arranging, I was like, the dude's a genius, like he had this idea and it just worked, and so I did quite a bit of rearrangement for it, and now that's done. And then there's Pray for Better Days, which is the bro Gino October. He's just recently signed to Universal Music.
Yeah.
So I had to get clearance from Universal Music for that. That's just.
How long does that take to get clearance?
It didn't take too long because the thing is, we recorded it a long time before he got signed to Universal.
Right.
So Universal was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And that made it easy.
Okay.
And I had to go through his management and.
But when you say not long, how long are we still talking? Like a month?
Something like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's actually
to be
not
honest,
too bad.
it probably would have been a lot quicker had I just been real pushy. But I was like...
But you're not. You're just like, no.
I was like, yeah, I'll just
take my time.
Yeah. And the bro Cluse. So those 2 dudes are part of the family Little Village, which is like with Bo Jeffries. And he like mentors these younger dudes.
Yep.
So Little Village is the crew. I'm part of that. It's sort of a collective. And then and when Gino spat his verse when we did the demo take at my studio, he sung it, and I know Gino can sing, but I was like, nah, this needs something a bit different. And I was like, cool. Thought about it for a while, and then we sat on the beat for about 3 months before I was like, got in touch with Amiga Levine.
Yep.
He was originally in Parachute Band. He's toured the world. His vocals are amazing, bro.
Yeah, he's dope.
And I hit him. He came through the studio, laid down the vocals like better than what I was expecting. Not that I wasn't expecting great things, or I was, but it was just like, it's not till you hear it recorded that you're like, oh shit, okay. And that song's sort of come off. That's done. And then the last song on the EP is the last song for the reason that it's going to be a slow burner. And I believe it is because it's just really nice. And it's got Kevin Posey on it. And
I'm keen to hear it if he's on it, man. Like,
yeah, I played the beat to him. And again, like, he actually sat down and like wrote. He was going through some shit at the time, and it's like, he came through really nice on that, just talking about what he's going through at that sort of point in time. And then I sent it home with him, and then like probably like 2 or 3 hours later, so it wasn't long, he sent back the chorus, and he had harmonized, because he sings as well, so he's like harmonized.
Like he's multi-talented, man. Bro, like, he can do like
he sent it
everything.
back. I was like, yo, okay, cool, I need to do some arrangements of this. But the beat was that cool that I felt it as though just leaving it as it was what it needed. Yeah, it was very stripped back, but
because sometimes you can go overboard.
Oh, hard.
And you don't even realize you're going overboard, and then you go back and
I didn't add anything to it. I just pulled things away. Yeah. And I tuned the drums to sound a little nicer and stuff like that, but I didn't add any more to it. I more like pulled things away and just made things sound a little bit tidier. And that song's probably one of my favorite off the EP. It's not going to be a single, but it's definitely like the last song of the thing that sort of ties up everything. Yeah. And it's dope. And it's like when I did the production, I like to tap shit out too. And the production on that track, nothing's been quantized. Everything sits like if you open the project, nothing sits on a grid the whole song.
Oh, true. Is it 4/4 though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing sits on a grid line. Yeah. And I like that because it's like, well, this is really organic-y sounding and feeling. And, and to me, I was like that's exactly what the song needs. It's very organic sound. What Kevin's rapping about is very organic. The chorus is about like needing a friend because it's like sometimes you're in the world alone. Like the whole thing is very organic, and it's like.
So when does it drop?
28th November on my birthday. Woo!
Bro, my birthday's on the 29th. But
right.
My man.
November babies, bro.
Yeah, bro. Sagittarius.
But yeah, I did that on purpose.
How come PhD aren't on it? Because those guys are your boys.
Got 2 songs that we've started sort of recording. I guess at the time it was just about getting these songs finished. There's one song that they started ages ago, but those dudes are busy, bro. Like,
oh yeah, bro. I mean, Ryan, man, Ryan alone is a beast. I
don't know anyone who works that hard and has 3 kids to look after, dude. Like, shout out to his wife as well, bro. It's like she must put up with a lot of dealing with the kids and stuff while he's doing his shit. You know? Yeah. He's something else, man. I mean, I had a really good chat with him when he was on here. I actually have never met Aneem. Like, oh really?
Yeah, I haven't met him. I am actually hoping sometime maybe in the new year I'll get both of them on because I've got a third mic now. So I can
definitely get those dudes on, bro.
Yeah, but like
I'll come and sit in the background and just like pull fingers at them.
Yeah, all good. So how did you actually link up with those dudes in the first place?
Oh man, it goes a long way back. We sort of knew each other a bit through. And shout out to Prestige and the Recommended Dosage family. They used to put on these nights called Eclipse.
Yep.
And it was just a bunch of hungry people that wanted to be MCs and shit. They'd turn up. And I was a DJ for a group at the time called DRS.
Yeah.
The tightest and the best with the lyrical caress that'll lay you down to rest. Shout out to Sal and Danny and Renee.
Oh yeah, Mannix.
Mannix, yeah, bro.
Yeah, well, because I used to rap with those guys. Oh, yeah, because they're my boys, bro. We're Source, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like DJed for them for a while. Like you'd turn up like with a CD, and then someone would play the CD, or you'd play the CD off a CD player on stage, and then I'd just do the scratches because it's pre Serato.
Yeah.
You know, so we'd do that, and PhD used to always just kill that shit every time.
They're amazing live.
Bro, and it was like for years afterwards, like I'd always say to people like, you got to see PhD live. You know, it's like, and I was never really associated with them. And as the years went on, it's like everyone would be talking about, because there's one thing I've always hated about not hated, always
disliked
about a lot of New Zealand hip hop acts, like big acts too. Is like their live shows have always been a bit.
Yeah,
even some of the biggest
agree.
guys. Scribe's something else. Like don't like, but a lot of them sort of just walk back and forth on stage.
Yeah.
Don't interact with their DJ. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't bring freshness or don't bring a real hip hop, because to me hip hop's supposed to be a very live thing.
Yeah. Well, they're not high in energy, I find.
Nah, but it's like their songs. There's certain rappers where their songs aren't high in energy.
Yeah. But you can
still have a live presence about you. And I think it's one of these things where it's like they don't see it as a I don't know. I could be wrong, but I just feel as though some of them don't see live as like a really important thing. Like, and some of them are great on record. Like having studio, being able to be able to perform in a studio is a art form.
Oh yeah, there's
Definitely.
there's some artists I know who are great live, and then you get them in a studio, and it's hard work.
Yeah, and
vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if you can lock down both well, then sweet. But I think when people see live, they should be able to leave and be like, yo, I want to see that motherfucker like tomorrow.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
PhD always had that for me. I was like, the way that they bounced back and forth, they knew each other's words, and it's like one would run out of breath, everyone would catch it, and then they'd go. Like, it was always great. And then
well rehearsed.
Yeah, and I saw them at the Big Daddy Kane show, and I just like approached Ryan. I was like, yo, dude, if you ever need a DJ, just hit me up. And
how long ago was that? That was in like early 2000s, was it?
Nah. 2013 or 14, I think. It wasn't too long ago. But anyway,
because I see you guys like on Facebook feeds. I see you guys around. I mean, you've been a guest on his podcast as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of you like DJing with them and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
And it's like it's cool because they understand. And I've DJed for other rappers before, and always felt as though some rappers don't want you to showcase your skills because it sort of pulls away
makes
from
them look. It takes the shine away from them. Yeah.
But it's like for me, it's like nah, it's not about that. It's about me like bringing something to what you're doing, bringing my skills in order to make your show a live show instead of me just playing your beats.
So when you're doing this stuff with PhD, do you like sit down with them and you go through?
Yeah, we've got
when it will move from like them to showcase you and vice versa.
Yeah, so it's like, and that's cool. They've given me like this pocket of like I can do like a routine, blah, 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 go crazy, and oh sweet, and then we go back into doing PhD songs. But there's also like sections where I'm dropping beats and behind them rapping live. There's one song where we it's like clean it up. It's like 120ish BPMs. And it's like first thing I thought was like fuck it, let's drop in some old school breaks underneath. Yeah. Ryan's verse at this section because it'll pull away from the original beat for a while, keep the liveness of it, you know. And it's like when there's the liveness of it, it sort of, you know, I'm like and it's like, and he's still rapping and it's like we're bringing a live essence to this song that necessarily was just a beat and him rapping on it. So now there's like a live aspect to that. And then we've got like another part where we do like 90s breakdown. So it's like all these 90s hip hop beats, but they're talking about, it's actually from one of their songs, but they're talking about their love of hip hop. And it's like, then we're going through like a whole, you know, it's like, and that can only be done live if the DJ's there in the particular way that we do it. So it's you know, a lot of DJs now, they forget that, you know, hip hop, hip hop DJ, do something. Like, do you get annoyed with the DJs that don't actually do anything though? Because you're an actual DJ, right? There are some DJs that just they're like this. They don't have the scratching skills or anything. What? Apparently, Jacinda's a DJ. I mean, what is DJing? DJing, and it's such a broad term. I guess it's like if you've got. It is. You could be a wedding DJ. You could be a fucking really good wedding DJ. Yeah, that's true. You could be a really good trance DJ. You know, it's like, and the trance DJ shit, they're supposed to blend for these big long blends, and it doesn't seem amazing, but some of that's just really fucking like what they're doing with the EQs and all that sort of stuff. Some of it's actually really amazing when you get to the technicality side of it. But then you got hip hop DJing. Hip hop DJing is supposed to be, and to me, in my eyes, is supposed to be this live, like I'm flipping some shit for you right now, whether it be doing like an actual juggle or scratching, or whether it be if you're in a club sense of it, a proper hip hop DJ is supposed to have clever transitions, not just
well, there's some DJs,
blends.
there's some hip hop DJs like when I've gone to a club or something, and they don't really do anything. The thing I'll hear is just a, and then that's it.
You know, and it's like Red Bull 3-style is a really good catalyst of what hip hop DJing to me is supposed to be.
Let's transition into that, because obviously you entered that and you killed it. Like,
yeah, I mean, at the time, 3-style was a very new thing too. And when I went to the World Finals, I had no idea what I was getting myself.
Because where was the World Finals? Was it Chicago?
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah.
So Chicago's amazing. I love that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we came back, I was actually, me and my missus were talking, like, and I was like, I was actually sending her adverts for apartments.
Oh, in Chicago.
Yeah, I was like, we could. We totally could.
So why didn't you?
I don't know. At the end of it, I guess.
Because how long ago was this?
2012. So 6-7 years ago.
Because isn't it difficult to get into America after the age of 30? I think it is, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I know.
Apparently,
I didn't look to the point of like trying to get green cards or anything. I was just like, oh, it could be cool. Could be cool.
Yeah.
I think at the time, like, I had a lot of things tie me down here. Like, I had like a job I was pretty heavy in. We had our house and shit, so it's like.
Oh, do you own a house in Auckland?
Yeah, and
bro,
Henderson.
Gold star for you, bro. If you own a house in Auckland.
We bought that. I mean, we sold it recently, but we bought that. I was only I just turned 21 when we.
Oh, so you got it before the housing market went all stupid.
Oh yeah. We
you
were
live
lucky.
in Cumu, right?
I live in Cumu now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I got mad love for you because you're from West Auckland and I'm from West Auckland. So yeah.
I grew up in Avondale, bro. So it's like back when Avondale was classed as West Auckland. It's not now. People who move to Avondale now, they're like, I live in Central Auckland. It's like,
well, I still view it as West Auckland, really.
It's like it's the gateway, I guess.
Yeah.
What have you, Avondale?
I do find every time I go to West Auckland, like, because I left Auckland 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And there's some parts of it that seriously I go through and I feel like I've gone through a time warp because it looks exactly the same. Like, it hasn't changed at all. And then there's other places like, Westgate, Tat North.
Yeah.
They've changed dramatically.
Bro, it's crazy because we've been in Cumu for going on 5 years. And like when we first moved out there, like you'd walk out at nighttime, right? That shit would be pitch black outside. You could see all them fucking stars, bro. You could see all of them.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And then it's like they built that Northwest Mall.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as
they
went
haven't
up.
finished that yet.
Nah, they're still adding to it.
And that's where the Costco is going to go.
They built that. You could see the light pollution coming.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they built all those houses in that area, bro, boom, I can't see the stars anymore.
That's trippy, bro.
And it was like we still live in like the rural section area of it.
It won't be rural for much longer.
I don't know, because we're in an area where there's still vineyards and stuff. So it's like it'll take a little while before they start to slap a lot of houses in there. Yeah. But there's been a lot of development out there, and it's like those lights swallow up that nighttime sky, bro.
Yeah, there's an observatory here in Hamilton, and I went to one of the opening nights, and the guy who was taking the lecture, I guess you could say, he was talking about light pollution and how it affects seeing the stars and stuff. Because it's actually something we take for granted here in like New Zealand and like places like Australia and stuff. Like when I went to India, you can't see shit, bro. It's just smog like all the time.
Yeah, I really want to go somewhere like that one day. I know my missus isn't keen on, she's not too keen on like going somewhere where it's too like dirty-ish. I guess she likes to like go somewhere like the islands where it's like just to chill out.
I was quite lucky because my partner's Indian.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like I got to stay with family and stuff. But with that being said, she has family that are, I guess you could say, poor and family that are wealthy. So like I got to see like
both sides,
both extremes.
Yeah, because it's real extreme there too, right?
Yeah, bro. You land in India. You look to the side in the plane, and there's just slums for miles, bro. Miles. It's crazy. You can't actually ignore it. Like, you can't go anywhere, and you just see it everywhere. And like poor kids, and they're like skinny.
But then like round the corner, there's like a mansion.
Yeah, that's why I get a bit pissed off when like when I came back here, and then they're talking about like poverty, and there'd be a big fat dude, like sitting on the street and stuff, and I'm like, yo, man, like, because there it's just it's crazy. It's like on a whole other level.
It's like you only understand the struggle you understand. So it's like, so if people here,
you only know what you
like,
know.
Yeah. So it's like, for them, that's a struggle, and poverty here, for people here, that I guess for their situation, not understanding the other situation and never lived in it, that's what they know and understand. So it's like, it's the same as, man, if I think of it like this, like if you're hungry, you're starving, you're like, man, I'm so hungry. You're going to complain to your mate, but man, I'm so hungry. And you're going to go get a feed for $10 or whatever,
Yeah.
But while you're that hungry, you're not like, oh, so much more people have it much worse. Like, I think of it like that.
Yeah.
So
you have to check yourself, and it's hard to remind yourself of that, because you just get so caught up in life. And then if you're around people, like, you're a product of your environment. Anonymous said this on the podcast. You're a product of your environment. So if you're around people like that, then you kind of absorb it.
Yeah. Oh, hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most definitely. And I think, like, because traveling is like the answer to arrogance. Like, seeing something like that makes your eyes open. And my wife and I both got married in Samoa, and when we went there and we saw these kids that have nothing, they're the happiest kids I've ever seen, bro.
Yeah.
And they've got not much, like, they've got their family, and that's the one thing I've always been a bit envious of Polynesian Māori culture, is that family is so important, and it is for like a lot of Eastern Europeans and stuff like that as well.
Even like, because I've noticed that even with my partner being Indian, like if they have a really tight knit family unit, you don't really get that with Europeans. No, like my dad was like, "What? You're 24? Get the hell out of the house. Go be independent." And you don't. It's not often like we all get together as like a family and stuff. It's pretty much only on like Christmas.
Yeah.
Some of my extended family I have nothing to do with. So.
But yeah, and it's like white families always have the most stupid problems too. Like, my family's problems are fucking ridiculous, and it's like a lot of it, like, especially my mum's side of the family, bro. And if they're watching this, like, you guys are all fucked. But like, it's one of these things where it's like they all hate each other for the shit that went on in their childhood, and they can't get over the fact that they're still family, man. Like, you guys are supposed to have each other's backs and stuff like that. And it's something that I try and hold with my brother and stuff. And I get in arguments with my brother over some weird shit every now and again. It's funny because, like, my brother's got a heart of gold, but he's so different than me. Like, and I can't believe we grew up in the same household. Like, dude drives like $100,000 BMW, and like,
oh damn,
he likes to let you know he drives it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And it's
it fit in well in America then, because like, I think because New Zealanders or Kiwis, like, we're a bit more modest, and there's that tall poppy syndrome thing as well. You have here,
dude, and that's like, it's one thing that going to Chicago in 2012, and then I went again with Burgerfuel in 2017 to Indianapolis, and it's like and I spent some time in LA as well. First time we went there, and it's like their culture from LA to Indianapolis to Chicago is like
way different.
Part is way different. But the one thing I took away from it was like, those guys work, bro. Yeah. They work. And it's like, we've got this thing overseas where we're like, oh, you see the fat American, you're like, oh, you're lazy fuckers. But it's like, like, those dudes know how to work. And the thing is, like, they're like crabs in a bucket over there, bro. Like, they're trying to just work their way through the day. Our Uber drivers were like nurses and shit. They had full-time jobs.
Like 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard like the pay, like, Kevin Posey was on here, and he said that like 67% of, I think it was 67% of Americans don't have savings. They literally live pay week to pay week, and most of them have like 2 jobs.
Yeah. I
mean,
and
what we see, the media is like, it's focused on the like top 1%, the Hollywood side, and that's not the realistic.
And the thing is, they don't complain about working either. They just work.
Well, like, it's a cultural thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think we're a bit complacent here. And then we get pissed off when like immigrants come here, like Indians and Chinese and stuff, and they start like, and they're prepared to work harder than us because they grow up in an environment where like no benefit or anything. So it's like, you don't work, you die.
Yeah, hard.
And then we get angry because they're like, oh no, they're taking our jobs. But it's like, yo, man.
Yeah, I mean, taking our jobs is like, I reckon that's a lame ass excuse. Like, get your hands out and fucking do some work, bro. Also, have some confidence. Like, that's a very Kiwi thing. Like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm good enough for that. And
self-doubt. Yeah. I mean, I have it.
And not wanting to be like the confident guy in the room, but it's like,
well, you don't want to be Kanye. Like, I think that's a bit extreme, but like,
yeah, but it's like, it's funny because it's like here for years, like a lot of people here, and you still see it, standing out and being the confident guy in the room. You're worried about being the cocky guy in the room, but there's a
balance.
There's a fine line that you've got to walk of not being cocky. But it's like, if you're confident and can back it up, then just go hard and be confident. But, you know, I find myself saying that to myself all the time, and then still like, it's so driven into us here that it's like, oh, don't want to stand out. You don't want to be, and it's like, at some point you just got to be like, fuck it.
Yeah, totally. But you probably don't want to get to the point where you're like confident, but you're starting to be condescending to other people because they're not on the level that you are on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's that too. But the thing is, like, I think that's where if you're confident and you take the time to help people up a little bit here and there, you know, totally. That's where you show your humility. You know, you're trying to help other people and trying to do other things for whatever you stand for. So it's like, this is where it comes from. The cut class thing at Radio Burgerfuel for me is like, there's a lot of DJs that were complaining about like these new DJs that aren't very good and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck it. What am I going to do about it?
You can't do shit.
Nah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have this place where they can come and they can train and I can show them some dope, cool shit. And then it's up to them whether to go out and utilize it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, instead of complaining about it, let's do something about it.
And sometimes we hate on people that are more successful than us, right?
That's such a Kiwi thing too, bro. It's like, whereas like hey, last time I went to the States, I was hanging out with a dude, Nico Flores. Shout out to Nico. He's a young dude he's a badass DJ, bro. And when I was there, he's like, oh, yo, like he was introducing me to his friends as like this national champion and this, that, and everything. I was like, oh, bro, that was ages ago. He's like, no. And I was like, no. Like, and then he was talking about the cutting room video I did for DJ City, and like, dude, my skill level was so shitty then, but this kid in Indianapolis knew who I was based off these things I'd done all the way over in this end of the world. So when I got there, he was like happy to meet me and introducing me to his friends as this guy and this other guy, and he was on this, and I was like, oh, bro, like, don't tell them about that. It's like, man, I wasn't very good then. He's like, dude, you're good. I'm just like, you know, it took me to realize that even though I don't think I was good enough
in his eyes,
but in his eyes, I've made it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
not made it, but like I've done something. I was like, and that's the thing is I've noticed with Americans is like, if they've done something, they're proud of what they've done, regardless of how good they were back then or whatever. They hold themselves in a different way. Whereas we tend to play things off like, oh, no.
Nah, it's all good. Like a bit modest. Yeah. Like, even though, you know, the Western world, we all speak the same language, like English and stuff, like the cultural differences between even New Zealand and Oz is huge, as well as like America and the UK and stuff. So
hard. Yeah.
It's something we kind of have to shake. But then, like, say, like in America, I know it's the case in India too, like they really worship celebrities there. Like, we don't.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, like,
we do a little bit here,
yeah, but not so much. Like, Jacinda Ardern was here apparently yesterday, and I was at some event, and they were telling me that like swarms of people were like following her while she was here, and I'm like, really? That's something like you don't hear often.
Nah,
but maybe it's just because she's prime minister.
With the younger generation, it's getting a little bit like that the whole social media.
Older
thing.
people are just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen some celebrity, like, I've been in Auckland and I'm walking down the street and I see celebrities and stuff and I'm just like, oh, yeah, just let them do their thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't go stop them. Oh, bro, can I get a selfie, bro? Like, oh.
Yeah. It's not really a thing here. But it's like,
which in some ways is
in the States, you walk into like, I walked into a spot that sold cloves, and they had a fridge of Gatorade for whatever known reason. I don't know why they're selling Gatorade in a clove shop.
Yeah.
But in there, next to the Gatorade, they had like some NFL star like standing there holding a bottle of Gatorade like on this big thing. And it's like, I remember just being like, that's really weird. I couldn't imagine like walking in somewhere and seeing Richie McCaw holding like a bottle of like Kiwi blue water or, or something Kiwi like
yeah. We'd be like, what the hell, man?
But it's sort of normal over there. It's like, and on all their ads, it's like always, and we put celebrities on our ads here too, but over there it's like
it's on another level there.
Yeah. And it's almost like, the best way, Dave Chappelle on one of his things ages ago, and he's like, you know, I can't tell the difference between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. To be honest, I have no idea the differences, but Pepsi paid me the most recently, so it tastes better. I was just like, but that's their whole thing over there from an outsider's point of view is that they definitely look at their celebrities like, I'm definitely going to go buy that drink because, going to go buy that drink because my favorite. So I find sort of weird, but it's not as prevalent. It's not as like.
It's not as in your face.
Yeah. Nah. They definitely put Richie McCaw on the odd thing or whatever, but it's not like everything. Different market.
And maybe that's the upside of tall poppy syndrome. Maybe that we don't have that, but
yeah, I don't know. It's a funny thing, man.
So have you just been to Chicago in the States, or have you been? And because you've been to LA as well.
Chicago. So when I went for Thr3style, we were in Chicago for a week, and then me and my wife just took like a week and a half off and spent our time in LA.
Nice.
Shout out to the bro Ryan, my old school friend. He put us up. He was staying in an apartment in Hollywood at the time. Yeah. So we stayed at his place and we got to see LA. I've
only been in LA airport, but I had a bit of a chat with Ryan about it. But
in that case, I've been to Dallas as well.
Yeah.
I went to Dallas.
I don't count the airport as being somewhere though. But was it like, because I've heard that there's a lot of junkies and it's dirty and there's people like living on the streets and stuff in LA.
Bro, been to Auckland recently? It's no different, bro. You know,
Auckland's changed dramatically since I've left.
Because I walk from the train to MAINZ on Thursdays. Bro,
which train? The
Britomart, down
yeah.
Up to MAINZ, and it's just, it's a horrible sight. But yeah, LA's it's like it's sort of like Auckland in a way, I would say. But it's probably a little dirtier in spots, but there's something similar-ish about it. So it's like
so it's
Hollywood's horrible.
Like, in what sense?
Like, you walk around, bro, it smells like dog piss everywhere you walk. Like,
bro, well, I've been to India, so like...
Yeah, but it's like, like, as a kid, you're like, oh, Hollywood.
Yeah, it's
you walk down Hollywood,
glamorized.
that's just fucking horrible, bro. K Road's nicer than Hollywood, in my opinion. Yeah, Hollywood's weird. Venice Beach is like K Road a lot because it's like just this mixed mash of cultures in one area. Yeah. But it's on a beach, so that's where it's way different.
Yeah.
But yeah, Santa Monica, we spent the whole day down there. It's nice, Again, reminds me a bit of Auckland, but there's some nice parts to it, and then there's some not so nice parts to it. We didn't actually go to downtown LA, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
But we got to, shout out to bro JCO. He's been working with Redman quite a bit recently as well. But he looked after us while we were there and like got us into this. This is the weirdest thing about Hollywood, right? We went to this club and no one gets into this club unless you're like somebody, or you got to be like mad dressed in a suit and turn up with like 4 girls in order to be able to get into this, this one club. It's like something you see on like a movie. Yeah. And it's like they got a door list and it's like you ain't no way you're getting in. But bro, it's like JCO was DJing there one night and I made it onto the VIP list. So we got there. Nice. We got there and it's like I was dressed like this, bro. Just a hat and hoodie. Like I had a fresh ass hat and a fresh ass hoodie, but I just dressed how I normally dress. Yeah. It was weird because everyone was staring at us like we were someone important because we walked in front of the line in front of everyone. Me and my wife, Ryan.
What celebrity is he?
One of the girls from Red Bull. We just like, and it was like that. It's like people were like looking at me all funny because it was like I was the only one. Because my bro Ryan, he always dressed fresh, was collared and whatever.
Yeah.
I was just, but it was that. It was like everyone was looking at me sort of weird because it was like there's this guy in a hoodie in here. Like, who is this guy? And there was quite a few people were approaching the Red Bull girl asking who I was. And then she would be like, oh, yo, he's a DJ from New Zealand. And he's over here. So it's like her being her, like Michelle, she's real cool too. She looked after us while we were there, took us out for dinner and stuff. But she, she was working for Red Bull at the time. So it was like, it was almost, I guess she felt almost obliged to like big up me while we were there to these people who were asking who I was and shit. So it was like, it was a real weird.
Do you think you could cope with fame if you were famous?
Now, yeah, maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah, because back then when I was only 24 at the time, bro. It was like, I couldn't deal with going and competing in a world final, bro. It's like, I don't know what was going through my head at the time. It was like, I was just mad lost. But now I'm a bit older and shit, and it's like I'm a lot more content with who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I could deal with it pretty easy.
Have you ever? Because you've met P Money, eh?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. He's a homie.
Because I've seen like he's given you props heaps of times.
Yeah. P's good, man. Like he's such a nice guy, like real nice guy. I heard from one person ages ago, not saying their name, that when he was younger, he was quite a bit like big-headed, but I mean he had done a lot by the time he was 21, 22.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
dude, I remember. You remember when Bebo was around? Bro, I did this little rap and I sent it to him and he responded and I was like, oh yo, my man.
But it was funny because like he when I was in Chicago, I saw him starting liking my shit on Instagram, and I was like, oh, like again, it's like P Money knows who I am, because it's like he's a big reason as to why I even started doing the shit.
Oh, dude, he's one of the OGs, man.
Yeah, and it's and so I just hit him back. I was like, oh, hey, bro, could it be cool to sit down and have a coffee? And we sat down and had a coffee. I told him like what I do and what I'm up to and what I want to be doing, and he gave me some really good advice, and it took me a lot longer to get there, but yeah, and every now and again I'm like I was supposed to go on tour with Slum Village.
Oh yeah,
over in Europe.
Yep.
It was Pete Rock, Slum Village. I think Premiere was on tour with them as well.
Okay.
There was like this big tour with all these hip hop cats, and they were talking about taking me on tour with them through Europe. And so when we were in discussions back and forth, I was like had one inbox open with P Money as well. I was like, oh, like how do I approach this? And he's been really, really good with me for that. It's like,
that's cool.
When I ask him for advice, he always gives me real solid advice.
What is it? He's like a radio host or something now, isn't he?
No, he's A&R for Sony Records.
Oh, nice.
So it's like he's he's out
like
there developing artists.
Dirty was the label, man.
Bro, Dirty and Dawn Raid was killing it, and then Dirty just came out and just went bow, 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 bow. It's like that's what it felt like at the time as a consumer. Of
Like because all the best artists were coming out of
Dude,
Dirty.
I was going to the record shop the CD shop, ECM Music or Sounds in New Lynn was my spot.
Yeah.
And I'd go there every week and cop the newest Dawn Raid shit. You know what I mean? And then as soon as that Dirty shit started slapping out, bro, I was like, yo, okay, what else? Like, that's what it felt like at the time. It was like Dawn Raid, then Dirty just went, nah, we've got these guys and they're like on the same caliber or better. PNC, like PNC. I want to see PNC do some more old school style PNC shit.
Yeah.
If you're watching, bro.
Yeah. You don't really hear much from those dudes now.
Nah,
like,
but
only,
PNC's
like,
dope as fuck, bro.
Yeah,
like,
PNC. Like obviously Scribe's gone through all this shit, but
yeah, I mean
David Dallas, like,
Scribe's a great creative, and I've never actually met Scribe.
I'd love to have him on here.
Hit him, bro. He'll probably be keen too.
Is he living in Auckland or is he in Christchurch?
I think he's in Christchurch. I could be wrong. He's like
because he's from Christchurch, but I don't know if he's back in Christchurch.
He's
or he's
good
living
friends
in
with some good friends. It's like the bro Richie Mills and him like grew up together.
Because I think like this would be a good platform for him because I think he gets. The wrong message gets across in the media sometimes, and it gets twisted, and the wrong narrative gets out. So like,
Fuck the media, bro.
Yeah, bro. So like, if he came on here, he could like say everything he needed to say without being edited or anything.
Yeah. He's a creative person. I come from a family of addicts and shit too, so it's like, and I've had to check myself on certain things to keep myself in line. And my wife has fucking definitely kept me in line over
You
the
got to
years.
have a good click, man.
Bro, my wife's she's a boss, bro. She's awesome. But super creatives like him, bro, and you see it a lot with music.
Oh, not even
Of all genres,
overseas,
bro.
like in America.
Rock music, fucking jazz music, any country music. Like, there's these guys that are really amazing at what they do, but generally,
It comes at a price.
yeah. And I think to a degree, they've got as good as they are because what they were chasing to be as good as possible became addictive.
Yeah.
So they've got this.
I have an addictive personality.
Yeah,
It's
same, bro.
very, very easy for me to get addicted to stuff, which is why I'm very careful about, like, I don't do any substances of any kind.
Yeah.
Primarily because I'm like, no. Like, I
I'm the same, bro.
I know myself well enough to know that I'm like, nah, if I try this substance once, it could lead to a very dark road. So I don't do that.
I'm same, bro. It's like, and I like going through West Auckland, bro. It's like going through high school, into high school, meth became this fucking huge thing all of a sudden,
bro.
you know.
It's
And
worse
shout
now.
out to everyone who's been through that and come out on the end
On
of
the
it.
other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there I saw some friends going to some dark places with that shit, and I just, in a way, it was, meth, and then it's like some of my boys that I was really close with, just they started like doing MDMA every weekend, and it was like a normal thing. You know, that's your thing. That's all good.
Yeah.
Pick your poison. But for me, I was like, I was always a bit like, oh, well, I prefer this hip hop thing over here.
Yeah.
And I prefer just to stay at home and be better at this DJing shit than
Totally.
just be going to raves. And it was never really my scene. And I also knew in myself that it's like, dude, if I enjoy that, if I enjoy something, bro, I go 120% on it. So I knew just to stay away from the shit, you know? I've had my problems with fucking not being able to stop drinking enough alcohol and shit.
I
like
know
that.
a lot of people like that. Like, and it's a big problem in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
Binge drinking.
Dude, and it's like I'd drink myself to blackouts like every weekend at one point, and it was like, I think it was just it was a moment also of and I would turn like my mum's side of the family tend to have a issue with when they drink, they get quite aggressive and angry, and I started having that problem myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw my wife getting pissed off a lot because I'd have these blackouts and I'd get angry about dumb shit and about nothing. And it's like, a lot of it's just to do with like how you think day to day, and it all comes out in the fucking wash with the booze. And it's like,
Right.
I'd start putting myself in check because I was like, if I didn't, she would have fucked off, bro. She would, you know. So
But I suppose it's a subconscious thing, right? You're not even aware that you're doing it
yeah,
when you're in that state.
yeah,
And
you
even
know.
and like I'd imagine some people find it hard in that self-reflection
Yeah,
because you get caught up in that kind of routine, that cycle.
yeah, and just it is like it's a bad cycle. But if you can, and I think that's part of like trying to find yourself as a person and as a grown up, is like you got to try and find the reasons you're a little bit like that, you know. And a lot of it's to do with just your perception, the way you think about your day-to-day life, because quite often you'll be going home from work be like, fuck that, my boss is a dick, and but it's like, your boss probably isn't a dick. You just need to like flip about how you're thinking about your everything that goes through your
It
day.
can dramatically change your life just doing
Change
that,
who
right?
you're hanging out with. If that helps, do whatever you need to do.
Because I know a lot of people, like, they blame all their problems like on the government,
Yeah,
or on
I mean-
some person that fucked them over like 10 years ago.
I love it when John Key was in power, bro, because everything was always his fault. It's like, oh, it's raining today. It's John Key's fault.
Yeah.
And, but you know, like,
I mean,
I'm not a huge fan of John Key, but at the same time, it's like he's just a person doing what he thinks is probably better for New Zealand.
Yeah, well, this is because I've had politicians on here, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's taught me to be more objective because you got to be able to separate the politics from the person, the character of the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then because they're just trying to get through life just like everyone else is, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that they're in the public circle.
Yeah.
And then people just, you know, because they might make a decision that affects someone or that person in a negative way.
Yeah.
Then there's this emotional grudge and they just hate the person. Oh, fuck them because they ruined my life.
Yeah. I mean, you're never going to keep everyone happy. It's like DJing too, bro.
Yeah.
You can't fucking.
Well,
like,
yeah, you play one song, someone will like it, another
others
person will
won't,
hate it.
you know.
Why is he playing that song? So it's just like,
Exactly, bro. You can't
like a
keep everyone
seesaw.
happy all the time. And
Yeah.
it's like, and if you start chasing, trying to keep everyone happy all the time, then you generally like fucking aren't doing what you need to do to keep yourself in check, you know.
yeah, totally. So how did Burgerfuel happen? The Burgerfuel radio thing.
Yo, shout out to bro.
Bro, I love Burgerfuel.
Yeah, I think
smashed
everyone
it.
does. It's
yeah,
good.
man, it's smashed.
It's good product, bro. You know,
it is. It is. I used to smash it every week.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm a big fan of like just fucking making the best product you can, no matter what the fuck you do. You know, it's like
Totally.
if you sell, I don't know, car tires. Like, if I owned a tire shop, I couldn't sell shit that I know someone's going to skid off the road with. Like, just subconsciously, I'm like, man. It's like, as a panel beater, I used to take a lot of, especially when I started enjoying panel beating more was my last couple of years panel beating, because
Right.
which is weird because that was when I was like, oh, I need to get out of this. But at the same time, I was like, I started taking a lot more pride in my work, and I found the more pride you took in your work, the better you felt about your day at work.
Yeah, I agree.
And having a boss that allowed me to take that extra 15 minutes to just make this job right was key to that as well.
Yeah,
you know. But Burgerfuel's a good product, and like the guy who's in charge of like making how the burgers taste and stuff. Shout out to Mills. He's a really nice guy, and he cares a lot about making something as good as he possibly can. And it's just like, I mess with that.
Yeah.
And it's like, as a brand, that's their whole shit, is like they just want to do the dopest shit that they can do the dopest way possible.
Well, it's cool how much it's expanded too.
Yeah.
Like it's, it's in other countries and stuff, like America and Dubai and...
Yeah, Dubai. I think one of their busiest shops is actually in Dubai.
Yeah.
They've got like a cult following in Dubai. It's weird. I find it really cool. But
do you get free burger fuel?
Yeah, I get like a certain amount of tickets a month. And
yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
But it's good because it's like if I go to for a studio session, it's like I'll just rock up with burgers. Like, oh, here, have yours.
Oh yeah. Nice.
But so the bro Matt, I was doing like a show up at KFM.
Oh yeah.
And the bro Matt Bumpin' Ugly that was on after, he was like, he was working at Burgerfuel Mount Eden at the time, and he was like doing some stuff for they just started like a radio station.
Yeah.
And he was doing some bits and pieces, and he's like, I should put you in touch with this dude Lee will get you in and do a guest mix. Like, yeah, cool. And I turn up one guest mix, and then they're like, that was cool, come back next week. I'm like, yeah, cool. Then the next time I went, there was a stack of avid DJs there. One dude from Canada, and then it's like just a few like drum and bass heads and stuff, and they were all bugging out because I get busy, bro. It's like when I do my mixing, even if it's just club style mixing or whatever, it's like I like to be creative and do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And they all bugged out, and then Lee's like, hey, do you just want to make this your weekly thing? And then so I just keep doing that. And then as the years went, I was just like, oh, can we do this? And they're like, yep, cool. Oh, can we do this? Yep, cool. So now I'm like doing more regular stuff with them. And
that's cool, man, because it sounds like just everything's fallen into place for you.
Yeah, I mean,
although I'm not sure if that's exactly how it is, but it looks that way.
There's a lot of dead ends, but it's like, but what you
because I know a lot of
what you broadcast is
yeah.
It's like Facebook, and it's like you see one of your friends absolutely killing it, and it's like, dude, I
don't believe that shit.
Yeah, you can't.
It's crap. They don't show you all the all the negative stuff
and all the hustle.
All the bad stuff behind the scenes. You just see the highlights. As
the
Ryan
100 million emails that they had to send to get one. Okay, that shit takes a lot of time and effort. And
I think people, like, even with this podcast, man, people are like, oh, yo, man, it's doing so well and out the gate. I'm like, yo, man, you have no idea how many people like eye contact on a weekly basis. Yeah, just to get on here and constantly reaching out and researching and all that. So yeah, it's a hard hustle, man. Yeah,
and it's like and Ryan with his podcast is like he holds down that full-time job, and then he's got the kids, and then he's got his consistent music he constantly puts out, and then like between all that he finds time to like research new music and stuff. And I tried to do a TV show thing on live to Facebook a while ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and it was like that took hours out of my week just to put together like an hour show, and it's like and then dealing with creative people too, like they're like, oh yeah, cool, and then they double book themselves for something else, and then they text you on the day like, oh sorry bro, I can't make it, and it's like, oh bro, I've just written the whole show.
Yeah.
And
now
now I've got to like swap you up with someone else.
Yeah.
In some way that worked for the last episode I tried to do of it was So a couple of dudes backed out, and not going to say any names. And then just happened to be Stro Elliott, the beatmaker, was in town. And
yep.
I was desperate to get one extra person on, so I hit the bro Hudge, who was hosting him at Neck of the Woods, and Hudge was like, "Yep, sweet as. Let's look it up." And I got to interview one of my favorite beatmakers. Yeah, And I was like, while I was interviewing him, and then we're talking about Jazzy Jeff and shit, I was like, fuck, like I still in my head was like, this isn't happening right now, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, but you know, that was a fun little project. We were doing that off, like, I was getting some of my students at the time to like come in and do sound, and we were doing it with like no money whatsoever. And the bro Ben, like, because he came up with the idea like, oh, let's do something live. I'm like, cool. And then we tried that, and we did 3 episodes, and then it got to a point, because he's a freelance videographer, and he does like live to air. He's done live to air for like Sky TV and stuff like that as well.
Oh, nice.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he had like multiple cameras set up. It was insane, bro. It was really, really cool. But it was his job, and I couldn't have him every 2 weeks to do this thing, because he needed to get paid, and if I was going to continue doing it, I needed to get something out of it. And just the stress levels, I was not sleeping like all week. I would have like 2 hours, 3 hours sleep, because I was trying to piece together everything myself. And because of that, I was just like, I just had to let it go. I was like, man, it was too much. But if I could make that shit happen again, and just have two acts every 2 weeks, and have someone write the show and some other people. So yeah, if anyone's watching this and they want to become a producer, and
hit up Scizzorhands, man.
It's like, because the whole idea originally was to like get some sponsors and get some money going on.
Yeah,
and
well,
stuff
that's what I want to do here at some point.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool concept, and it was a really cool place to showcase people's fresh videos that they just dropped and stuff like that. It's sort of like what Ryan's got going on, but it was another level, having like extra hands and stuff like that.
I wanna check out his spot at some point.
Yeah, bro.
Because his is all green screen and stuff the majority of the day.
No, he's really sitting in like that live studio. But no, it's the way he's got it set up.
He's got a good setup,
and
man.
he's one man bands it, bro. It's like you watch him while he's doing it. He's just like, it's insane. I'm like, there's some cogs going in that guy's head that people don't have. Like, there's extra cogs in that guy's head.
Like, I got so much respect for that guy, man.
Yeah.
Like, because he's such a beast in terms of his work ethic, man. Yeah. Like, that stuff motivates me, man. I'm like, yo, man, if he can do it.
Hard.
I can do it. And he's doing it with kids. I don't even have kids, and like, you know.
Yeah. I think like that's the thing is, when you got kids too, you're a little bit more, because I only got the one daughter at the moment, but I feel bad for working extra late and stuff like that. So it's like I try to take the time to make sure I'm dealing with wife and kid. And like Sundays, I rule Sundays out, whereas Sundays are like, I ain't doing shit for no one. That's like home time. Yeah. You know? But yeah, you know, dude, when I'm like, oh man, I've been working so hard today, in my head, I'm like, no, I haven't. I just think of that guy where I'm like, it's like, dude, that dude is a machine. He's not human.
Nah, he's not. He just keeps going and going and going.
Dude, I take my hat off.
He posted a while back. He's like, oh, I'm stopping with the Broke Artist podcast, you know.
But he can't.
And then like 2 weeks later, he was back again.
I'm gonna take a break from music. I'm gonna take a break from music. Puts out an album. It's
bro. I think he tries to, but he can't. He's probably like us, man. Has an addictive personality, and like he has to keep himself busy. Like, I get bored if I'm not doing, like, when I first moved down here from Auckland, right? Because I wasn't dealing with traffic anymore. I gained an extra 3 hours a day. And I was like, shit, man, I've got all this extra time. I got to find stuff to do, you know?
Yeah.
And like, because, oh man, there's nothing worse than boredom, man. It's the worst. So I got to keep myself occupied.
I find it's like, it's hard. It's sort of harder to be a lot more bored these days too, with your like.
Oh, if you got a family and stuff,
always a phone. There's always like games on your phone and stuff, so it's like, but even then sometimes the games get boring or whatever, but I don't know. But it's not like, you know, when you're doing like,
when you're playing a game or something though, it's not as productive. Like, you don't feel the sense of achievement as you would if like you're actually creating something.
Yeah. Hard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, even creating something sometimes is like, that can make you feel like you're not achieving something.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I can spend ages on a beat and it's not going anywhere. I'm like,
oh, bro.
But sometimes you like, there's just bang, and you're like, fuck, I need to make a beat now. And then sometimes you're like, 10 minutes and you've made some shit that's like, whoa, fuck, I made that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like creativity is a weird
totally, man. Like
a weird beast.
Yeah. Do you ever get like writer's block or anything?
Well, not.
It's probably still early. It's still early days for you, really, in terms of the production.
All the time, like all the time, hard out, like.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, you'll come out with an idea, and then, the next day that beat will play in your head, and then you hear something over the top of it. Then you got to go straight to the studio, either that or I record it into my. It's a beautiful thing about having our phones these days. You know, it's like I can record that idea to my phone,
like an idea, like you mumble something.
Like as horrible as it sounds, like when you get back to the studio, you're like, oh, I know what I'm trying to achieve right now. And there's one thing is like sometimes if I'm just like in my car driving and sometimes the music won't be on for a minute, I'll get like ideas for bars, like for writing bars, like for rapping. So it's like I've been doing that for a while, so it's like I can't wait till I've got enough to be like, I'm gonna try write a rap, you know, and obviously I'm gonna get it checked over by all the bros. But
I had on last week Tr3style, who's a battle rapper.
Oh, yo,
and like he was detailing for me how he structures his verses and how he writes and stuff. It's actually real interesting because those guys, like, they got it harder, man, because they got to write like 6 minutes of material and then memorize it completely.
Yeah,
and then just do it once and then that's it.
And they got to have punchlines for days that make people go, oh,
yeah.
I feel sorry for some of them that do some real smart shit and it goes over people's heads though.
Yeah, well, this is one of the questions I asked Tr3style when he was on. Was do you ever write a punchline and think it's going to pop and then nah, it doesn't? And he's like, every fucking battle, bro. Every fucking battle, he said. And I was like,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to dumb it down for the masses. Sometimes you're sometimes you're too invested in it from the get-go, so you don't see it on a consumer's...
Well, you're looking at it from a creative standpoint as opposed to a consumer standpoint, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at it through a different lens, so you can't see it the way they see it.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to do that, actually.
And I think it's like, as you get older, you get better at understanding that when someone says, oh, this isn't going to work, you don't get butthurt out of it anymore. It's like 10 years ago, if I was like, oh, this is really, really, really cool, and someone's like, oh, it's not going to work, I would have been like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. You know, because I was young and stupid. But as I've got older, it's like, I understand. But like, I understand that. And like, I'm trying to do like this content I'm making at the moment in order to be able to like push out the one of the videos is actually going to drop today, but to push out the next couple of tracks and stuff like that. And I made like 11 of these videos and I sent them to the bro Edgar and Kenny who are actually in the video. And said to them like, oh, hey, I'm going to put all these up. And then Edgar's like, oh, no, I think you should only do this much because this and that, you know, is a bit boring. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
Was there a split second where you were like, what the fuck did he say?
No.
Or was it just completely...
I was just fully like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then like, I was like, yeah, you are right. And then I was like, while I was talking on the phone with him, I was like, yeah, no, you're right, bro, because you're looking at this as a consumer because you didn't sit there and edit this shit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you need someone who hasn't had eyes on it from the get go.
Totally, man.
Just to be like, nah, or yeah. And that's where Bo's really good with my production shit too, because I'll come to him with the full finished thing, and it's like he'll be like, just drop that out of it and just leave it not there. I'm like, cool, I trust you. This is the first time you've heard it, and if it didn't resonate with you right away, then I trust you. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, hey, man, I might wrap it up there unless there's anything else you want to cover. But before we go, you're going to bust out some cool stuff on the decks for us. But where's the best stuff, or best way for people to contact you?
Best way to contact me would be... via Instagram these days, bro. Yep,
Instagram's the best way. DJ Scizzorhands.
Yeah, I try to stay away from Facebook and shit because...
Oh, bro, it's
a consuming asshole, that one. Whereas
you just...
Instagram, I can like have a quick hit and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. I
deleted the Facebook app, which I'm pretty sure Ryan and Aneem like followed my suit on that one.
They did, and then they got back in it again.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I downloaded it again last week just so that way I can like post up about the everything coming out.
That's the thing. That's how they get you, right?
Yeah, like, but once it's done, I'm like, once the EP's out, it's just gone again.
Yeah. I'm the same. Like, I wish I didn't have to use it to like market all this stuff, but I kind of need it.
Yeah.
But then you end up getting addicted to it, and then you end up reading a whole bunch of useless information, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh, I don't need to know my friend bought a hat for his cat, took a photo of it and put it on Instagram. And but like, you don't need to know that.
Yeah, it's like, why do you need to tell people that, man? Like, I don't understand.
My wife fully like just deleted herself off Facebook. She's like, fuck it, over it. I'm just like,
oh, good on her.
Yeah, and yeah, I get it. Like, it's just it's such a waste of time. The only thing you miss is that it's like someone invites you to something. And being a DJ, bro, it's like you're friends with all these other DJs. So you get invited to a million things a day. So you miss your friend's birthday anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because you don't look at invites, you're just like, meh. Like,
yeah.
And, you know, if I really need to be there, they'll hit me on text. They know I ain't spending.
Yeah. They got your digits.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah. Cool, everyone. So make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and follow my boy DJ Scizzorhands. But with that, we are going to get on to some scratching. What do you actually call it? A routine? DJ routine?
Nah, I'm just gonna like show some like simple techniques. And
he's gonna
just do like a little freestyle thing. Using my own beat. We'll do that way.
Yep. Cool.
I'm a teacher, and I like to teach people what goes into shit. So
yep.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right.
So we got like scratching starts with like real basic things. So it's like if I move the record back and forth, right, I've just got baby, like forward, back.
Yep.
And it's like we're talking about different articulations. I could do that slow or big. So it's like when I got into like bad habits, it was more about like, only moving it like this every time I use it instead of, you know?
Right.
So it's about coming up with different articulations of it to be able to get different sounds and whatever. So it wasn't until a lot later that I was like, yo, I really need to be really, really good at the basic stuff. And then, so you got like cuts is when I move forward, but I cut off the backstroke. And then you got the reverse of that.
Right.
And then, you know, stabs is the same, but and then you got like it's like skateboarding, I guess. So skateboarding, you've got like a kick flip, an ollie, and a pop shove it. You can't do anything else flip trick wise without those three things.
Okay.
So the third thing for scratching would be the chirp, which is where I start open and then close it going forward and then open coming back. And then this opens you up to things like flares, which start open as well.
Right.
So you got to learn all of these basic ones.
How seamless do you have to make everything in terms of like with the crossfader and
as seamless as you want it. Like guys like CXL Manchu are really good at doing really fast technical stuff, but they tend to like mad flow everything together, which is cool. I think, and it's like scratching's like rappers flows.
Yeah.
So I think of it as like that's their flow and that's their style, which would be more like Tech Nine or Twister or something like that. Whereas I think of someone like Greg Harper, who isn't like widely known, but probably one of the best scratchers in New Zealand. Basic, simple scratches, but done in a way that no one does them and real funky. And sounds really good. And I think of that as someone like Pharaoh Monch, you know, like technical, but just flows in a particular way, has these gaps. And it's like those gaps matter. You know, I don't know who I liken myself to as a rapper, but it's more like, for me, it's like getting little technical itsy bitsies and then putting them together and then having these gaps and then coming in and then having these gaps. So it's like Miles Davis, I think it's Miles Davis talking about like how a trumpet player shouldn't be playing the whole time. It's the silence that the trumpet player has that makes the importance. So it's like that's a little bit of my approach. But then when you're like jamming with other guys, you sort of want to like show your shit. But yeah, those basic scratches lead up to more technical things like the Autobahn, which is like a combo of like stabs, babies, and drags. So it's like
nice.
And then, you know, delayed flares. The list just goes on, it keeps adding up. But one of the old school scratches is the transform. So it's like jazzy Jeff,
transform,
you know? Whatever. And then again, trying to find ways to make that your own. So it's like I could go, you know, instead of just doing 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 or 1 2 3 1, you know, keeping it too much on like 16th notes. So it's just about like using everything and trying to come up with your own flows and styles. Things get mad technical. You've got like the crab, which is like a 90s style scratch that back then was probably one of the hardest to do, which is like the just the snap of the fingers. I can only get 3 fingers in because it sounds like crab.
Yeah. Oh, is that why it's called crab?
Yeah, because Jazzy Jeff and not Jazzy Jeff, sorry, Cuba and Mixmaster Mike were in Paris or some shit, and the guy's like, "Would you like the crab?" A crepe.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we'll call that scratch that we do the crab." Because it sounds like crab, everyone just called it
crab.
So
it just stuck.
Yeah. And I guess like you can call it the crab too because it's like crab. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you just come up with a whole bunch of stuff. Like I've got one that me and like the bro PJs showed me this idea, and then I sort of like fiddled with it, and I called it double saddled horse, which is like a combo of a whole bunch of like new style and old school things.
Yeah.
So, that is one thing.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's like it's about putting the intricacies on the backstrokes and doing all sorts of weird things.
Man.
But yeah, I'm just gonna have a quick little jam and just with
go
this
hard, bro.
typical.
Sweet.
So this is actually one of the beats off the EP. This is the one that Kevin Posey's on, the last beat.
Nice.